Well, welcome to part 3 of collision avoidance, and just going to share this little bit of footage I had of a aircraft really in our operational area on an approved flight in Class E airspace, just to gain an appreciation that traffic is real. It is up there, and it is our responsibility as RPAS pilots to always avoid air traffic by being aware of where they're coming and where they're going. And of course, this also means that the pilot would have the ability to take evasive action and maneuver the aircraft out of the way of any oncoming traffic. And as you can see while we're zoomed in, this traffic is at about the same altitude as we are flying. Okay, let's say again the aircraft is flying out at this altitude at maybe about, say, 200 feet for argument's sake. And now we have a different safe case scenario. A helicopter has been spotted heading into your airspace from that trajectory heading that way. So it is coming from behind the drone operator from up this direction, okay? And your aircraft is downrange. Now what are we going to do here? Okay, a pilot in command has seconds to react. Where's the helicopter going? You don't know. You don't know where he's going. He's low, maybe he's at 300 feet, maybe less, and he's headed right towards over top of your area. So in this kind of situation, again, we'll have seconds to react. Back to our emergency checklist. Get out of the way. That's what we're going to do, okay? Get out of the way. So that guy is going this way. The safest thing I would do in this situation is maneuver the aircraft that way, okay? Immediately maneuver and take evasive action that way. And the helicopter, whatever they're doing, keeps going this way on their trajectory. Get out of the way. Just going back to that scenario. Why would I not want to go this way? That could be a potential option, but look what I'm doing. I'm heading downrange of the home location, which could jeopardize R loss and V loss. And as we can see, there's this building in the way. So my election would be to go that way in that kind of a situation. Take evasive action, cancel the waypoint navigation mission, and move out of the way. Let the aircraft pass. One other situation that I just want to talk about briefly as we continue with this study about collision avoidance is, what would you do if the vehicle was in a return to home and you cannot deactivate it? So the aircraft is autonomous in a return to home for whatever reason, and you cannot gain manual control. And something like this was happening, okay? And it's on a trajectory, let's say right over the landing area as it's trying to track back to its home position, and you have this aircraft headed right for you, and then you know that that's what it's doing. Usually it'll track home slowly on RTH, and you see it creating a collision hazard. What would you do in that situation? In my immediate judgment, I would say that there's only two things that you can do, okay? One would be to try to kill the aircraft by doing a pre-selected code that would simply drop the aircraft out of the sky through a command and control thing to the C2 link. So it would just drop right there. So always be prepared to kill it rather than risk it running into another aircraft. As this aircraft is coming in to the trajectory, you could try, that's number one, kill. Number two, com, try to communicate. So I have my VHF transceiver. I immediately try to communicate with the aircraft on the frequency that I know and that I am monitoring, and advise that aircraft that there is an RPAS directly in his path of flight to stop or take evasive action. Okay? And if you wanted to do a mayday at that point, I would do a mayday over the radio directly to the aircraft. And if you don't have a VHF, then your only bet will be at that point would be a cell phone call to ATC, Air Traffic Services. So you could speed dial that. You may have a chance to avert the collision situation if that were the scenario.
And one thing I would add, just in addition to this, is that if you're in a Class G uncontrolled aerodrome or in an airspace, calling on a cell phone would not be an option at that point. And this is why I think it's very important that pilots make sure they have the ability to communicate with other aircraft in emergency situations over the handheld VHF.
So make sure you have the ability to kill, and then make sure you have the ability to communicate. If you don't have manual control, if manually maneuvering isn't an option for whatever reason, maybe it's a fully autonomous drone that you're operating, maybe you don't have manual flight skills, maybe you don't know the orientation of it, and so you've activated return to home, maybe you have lost RLOS and have a communication breach, which means that you're in a return to home function due to radio interference or whatever. So you have to be prepared for this case scenario as well.